just me, or is good wood getting harder to come by? We're making a thumb and index finger style slingshot today. It means you hold it like that, in between those two fingers and the rest of your hand instead of like this, like a hammer grip slingshot. And you're making it out of these two pieces of wood. This is some walnut. It's got some really nice red colors in it, red and green. And this piece of cherry. I think I'm going to make the main body out of this and then just do some cherry laminations, which should look pretty nice. Might add some other different kinds of woods. I don't know. This is the design I'm going to be using, the basic design. I'm just going to sketch it out on here and use this as my reference because this isn't the size. But yeah, we'll just jump right into sketching it out.
Music licensing reimagined.
Okay, I think I like that, except I'll have to make the pommel area bigger when I sketch onto the piece of wood. Speaking of which, I think what I'm gonna do is chop off the ends right here, like that, for so I can laminate some little pieces of cherry on the sides. I think that'll look pretty nice. I think what I'm going to do is actually just glue this on with a glue stick. So these. So just paste that on, and you definitely don't have to glue it, it just makes it a little easier. I'm just gonna sketch out the wider part that I want. I'm just trying to match it as closely as I can to this one, to the other side. There we go.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
Okay, so I cut it out. It's pretty rough, so I think I'm just gonna or smooth the sides out a little bit before I start cutting out the laminations. Yeah. Okay, so we got the edges cleaned up, and I also squared the faces. So I think what I'm gonna do is just put a piece of cherry goes across there, and then fills out this area, just a little liner. Then put another piece of walnut right here, and then have like right here a piece of cherry in between, and then I'll have the two pieces of walnut, and then I might do another one up here or a diagonal one. On this side I might do something like just the little liner or something, and then I'll also, like I said, I'm gonna put those two pieces on either side, here and here. The next step will be to just trace this out onto a little piece of cherry. So I got this piece made. It took a long time to flatten just because of how thin it is. It's hard to grip. That's nice and flat, and it's just gonna go right there like that, or this side. Yeah, this side. Like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that on, and then it'll just be easier to have this part already partly dried when I go to clamp the other pieces on, because it won't slide around nearly as much. And a tip that I learned a while ago is to put a little bit of salt after you put the wood glue on. There's just a few grains of it, and that sort of digs into the wood and when you clamp it, and it keeps it from sliding around while you're trying to do your glue ups, but then the glue also dissolves it so it doesn't get, so the salt doesn't get in the way. So it's a very useful tip that has saved me many hours of pain. So I recommend you try it the next time you want to do something like this. And then while this is drying, I'm just going to start work on those two walnut pieces. They're going to go here and here. So we have a change of plans. Instead of just gluing these onto the slingshot as they are like just on top of each other, I'm going to glue them together this way.
Artlist.io.
And then square out this piece once it's all one piece, and then glue it on. I think that'll be a lot easier and make it more reliable in terms of how I know it's going to come out. So I wanted to start doing a segment in every new video about coffee memes. So basically I just show a meme about coffee for a few seconds and just, I guess, read it out. So here it goes. So this one's pretty funny. It's called, well, actually it doesn't really have a name, but it's just 2 Adderall and a double shot of espresso. I can see sounds. So they're both glued and the glue has dried, so I'm just gonna unclamp them real fast. Okay, so they seem to have bonded nicely. I can't see any gaps in there. Yeah, this looks nice. This looks good as well. So I think I'll just go to the next step now. So I'm just gonna figure out the layout right here, and then cut it, and then I'll start smoothing it out and flattening both sides. And I've just decided to cut it right there. So yeah, I'll just cut that on the bandsaw real fast. So now that's cut. So, and I just cut off the corners as well, so save me some rasping. So the next step is to just chisel the excess cherry bits off, and I might do some hand planing with that, and then I'll just start sanding it on my sandpaper on marble block.
Music licensing reimagined.
Okay, that went very well. I always enjoy chiseling stuff like this. And one thing to be wary of if you're doing stuff like this, like sanding smallish pieces, especially very thin pieces, and don't let any of your fingers touch the sandpaper, because even if you don't notice it, you'll end up sanding away bits of your skin like I did there. So just be wary of that, and don't think it won't do anything, because it will, and it's not fun. Okay, this side is going a lot faster than I thought it would. Okay, that's pretty good. That went a lot easier and faster than I thought it would. Now I'll just do the other side. This side is probably going to take a lot longer. That went a lot faster than I thought it would. Both sides are already flat in like under 5 minutes, so that's a new record for this kind of sanding. So the next step is to just hold it like this, and then just trace it out on here from this side, and then cut the basic profile out, the bandsaw, and then I'll glue it on, and then the rasping and filing and shaping really starts. Okay, that's nice. And before I go ahead and glue it on, I'm going to chop off this corner, or this top bit right here, because it's going to be rasped down anyways, and it'll save me a lot of trouble if I try to do that on the slingshot.
Music licensing reimagined.
And I'll just clean that up with a rasp. Okay, now I'll just glue that straight onto the slingshot. So I went back and sanded this piece flat again because I guess when I clamped it up it got a little wonky. But I'm basically just going to be gluing on like that. And the wood glue I'm using is the Type Bond 2. I really like this stuff. It's very, very strong, and I highly recommend it for any woodworking projects you're doing. No affiliation, of course. I just really like the product. And I'm also doing the thing with the salt again to help it keep from sliding around. Okay, that looks pretty good. And go ahead and clamp it up. And one trick I also learned a while ago is to clamp it to the table, just like this.
Music licensing reimagined.
Okay, that should be good.